Hello everyone, welcome to another Chef Alex video. I'm your host, Chef Alex Cardinale. How you guys doing today? I hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday and a great start to the week. I hope you had a great Labor Day weekend and hopefully you enjoyed the last summer party of summer. It's hard to believe that fall is quickly approaching. We're getting very close to Halloween. We're getting very close to Thanksgiving. We're also getting very close to Christmas and the New Year. Luckily for me, I live in South Florida and I don't have to worry about the cold weather anymore or snow or big storms that cause me to lose power or anything like that anymore because I am in South Florida. So today I'm going to be doing my second baking reaction video that I'm going to do with all of you, my live viewers, and of course, everybody that is catching this video in the archives as well. So I want to say thank you to everyone who is tuning in, whether you're live or you're catching this in the archived replay version of today's episode. So today I'm going to be reacting again to 8 baking videos. I'm going to be reacting to a chocolate cake video, a vanilla cake video, a cannoli cake video, as well as an apple crisp video, and many more awesome baking videos. So before we get started, I have a couple of things that I'm going to share with all of you. First and foremost, next Thursday, Chef Alex, will be back in the kitchen. I'll be back doing live cooking and baking videos. So if you like to watch cooking videos and baking videos, I'm back doing that in the kitchen next Thursday, September 16th, 2021 at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, and I'll be making Texas Roadhouse bread pudding. And I'll talk about that more towards the end of today's video. Big shout out to my friend, Jarek Alexander, who is watching live. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoy my first baking video that you're watching. So, having said that, on Thursday next week, I'll be back in the kitchen baking up a storm with the Texas Roadhouse bread pudding. My next announcement is that I will be answering your cooking and baking questions when I do a Chef Alex Q&A on September 25th. However, when I do these reaction videos, I will also answer your questions in the comments as well. So, if you have any baking or cooking questions right now that you need answered, post them in the chat and I will answer them. With that being said, if you want to share your reactions to the baking videos shown in the video today, comment in the comments your reactions and I will share your reactions in today's video. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Now, just like usual, like my other last 2 reaction videos, these videos that I'm going to show today were chosen at random by my friends. I don't know whose YouTube channel they are from, but I know what dessert they are making. So I'm just making it clear that all the videos played on today's video are chosen at random. All right, let's go ahead and get started. And I'm going to start by reacting to my first video. Let's see what it is, folks.
Hi guys, so today we're going to be in the kitchen baking, girl. We're going to be making some M&M cookies. So for this recipe, you're going to need some flour, sugar, some butter at room temp. You're going to need an egg, a little bit of cornstarch, some salt, and baking soda. You're also going to need some vanilla, some brown sugar, and some mini M&Ms. Now to start off, we're going to mix our dry ingredients together. And then we're going to set that aside. To my mixing bowl, I'm going to cream my room temp butter and sugars together. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add in my vanilla and my egg. And then after that, I'm going to start to add my dry. Now once your dough comes together, we're going to go ahead and mix in our mini M&Ms. Next, we're going to go ahead and cover our dough and let it chill out in the fridge for about 30 minutes. After that, we're going to go ahead and make our little dough balls. We're going to pop them in the oven to bake at 350 for about 9 to 11 minutes. You want to let them cool on a cooling rack. They were so yummy, you guys. Nice and crisp on the outside and chewy in the middle. Yum.
Nice. M&M cookies are a personal favorite cookie of mine. I like M&Ms and I like chocolate chip cookies. So the next best thing would be M&M cookies. So I'm glad they picked the M&M cookie to start off my reaction. Now that video where this lady was making M&M cookies, it looks absolutely delicious. She used the creaming method properly. Now with the creaming method, you want to beat the butter and sugar as much as you can to incorporate air into the mixture so that you have a nice soft and chewy cookie. And it looks like she did that very well. And the cookie looks fantastic. I would eat 1 or 2 or even 3 of those delicious M&M cookies. They're one of my personal favorites. So they look absolutely delicious. And I think she did a great job making those M&M cookies. Very good video to start us off. Now let's get to my second reaction. And I have to say, my next reaction is a childhood favorite of mine. I used to grow up eating this all the time as a kid. And a lot of people say it's kind of a boring flavor. But let's just get to reaction number 2, and then I will react to it after we see it. Nice. Vanilla cake. Now, I know a lot of people think that vanilla cake is basically a boring flavor because it just has like one extract and sugar in it. However, as a kid growing up, I loved vanilla cake. If you were to ask me my favorite cake flavor before I went to culinary school, I would tell you it is vanilla cake. Now, in this video that I just showed you, you can see how simple and easy it is to make a homemade vanilla cake. You just need the basic ingredients, which are butter, sugar, eggs, flour, some sort of leavening agent, which could be baking powder or baking soda, and then, of course, vanilla extract and milk. Those are just the basic ingredients of a vanilla cake. And then for the icing or frosting, that's where your imagination can be put to use. Baking is really fun because when it comes to frosting cakes, you can make your imagination go wild. Now, you could create a vanilla buttercream, or you could do what I would do, which is take a vanilla cake and get some strawberry pie filling or lemon pie filling. Make some whipped cream and decorate the top with a pastry bag full of whipped cream, and then add that fruit filling. That would be phenomenal. I like a good fruit cake that uses vanilla cake as a base with whipped cream. So, very good video. This would be a video I would send to somebody who wants to begin making homemade cakes and they were looking for a good vanilla cake recipe. This one was pretty good. I would probably send them that video as one of the best beginner cake recipes out there. Now, my top 5 favorite cakes would probably be red velvet, vanilla, marble, cannoli, and carrot cake. But vanilla cake is a childhood favorite, a cake that I grew up eating. And red velvet cake I'll remember from my late teenage years. All right, I think I'm ready for my third reaction. Let's get right into my third reaction.
Hi guys! Today on Divas Can Cook, we are making a homemade chocolate cake with a chocolate buttercream frosting. And let me say, y'all, this right here, this cake is the only chocolate cake you will ever need. Like, for real, it is epic, epic, epic. You guys are gonna love this one. Let's go. Okay, first step, I have some flour in a bowl. I'm gonna add my baking powder, baking soda, and a little bit of salt. Go ahead and whisk this around. Make sure you get it all mixed in really well. And then we're gonna add some unsweetened cocoa powder. Yes, there it is. The unsweetened cocoa powder goes in there, and use that that dark kind. I think it's called like Hershey's Dark. Oh my god, it makes your cake so dark and luscious. I love that kind. All right, this is done. The dry ingredients are done. Moving right along to our wet ingredients, I'm gonna add my sugar into a large bowl. Dump it right on in. Next, I'm gonna add my brown sugar. Brown sugar, you can use dark brown sugar if you want to. I'm using some light brown sugar. We're gonna go ahead and add in some oil, vegetable oil. You can use canola oil if you want to. This will keep our cake nice and moist. We're gonna mix this up just until it is kind of combined, you know, just like that. And then once you have the oil and the sugar mixed up, go ahead and start adding in those eggs. I got four eggs for this cake because it is a 3-layer cake, and the eggs, yeah, it's gonna give that bomb texture. Love it. Okay, there's my last little egg going in. I got a new camera, you guys. Can you tell? I'm testing out a new camera. I kind of like it. I like it. Okay, so now everything is all mixed up. I love it. And next I'm gonna add in a nice healthy splash of vanilla extract. Then I have these two girls, my buttermilk. Yes, you know what's coming, right? Buttermilk. We're gonna add in some buttermilk. And make sure that all of your ingredients are room temperature for the best results. Always do that. Okay, so that is mixed in. So I'm gonna add in my hot coffee, which I always add hot coffee in my chocolate cakes or my red velvet cakes or just any cake that has a nice chocolatey undertone. Yeah, that coffee, Love it. Okay, now I'm gonna mix in my dry ingredients into my wet ingredients, and man, I should have got a bigger bowl because I was like right there on the edge. I'm like, please do not overflow. I'm trying to go like nice and, you know, but yeah, go ahead and just mix those two together. This is a lot of batter, but I promise you, with a few minutes of mixing, you're gonna have a nice smooth batter that kind of looks like chocolate pudding, like this right here. Okay, just like that. Looks so good. And this chocolate cake, you guys, this is the only chocolate cake you will need. It is the bomb, and it only gets better the next day. Lovely. Okay, this part is done. Whoa, honey, that took a lot. I'm like, this batter is a beast. Okay, the batter is kind of thin though, but you want to go ahead and just place these into your prepared pans. I have my pans greased and floured. I think I use like 2 cups per pan, I think. Yeah, that's what I use. Go ahead and scrape off that little extra and then give it like a little shake like that to get rid of all those air bubbles. I'm gonna bake it at 325 for about 25 minutes. And here it is out of the oven. I can just look at a cake and tell if it's gonna be nice and moist and just give me everything I need in life. And I can just look at this cake and like, yes, it's gonna be the bomb. Okay, so once the cake has cooled off in the pan, I'm gonna remove it from the pan. I like to get my little spatula and kind of go around the edges just to make sure it's not gonna sit, you know, along the edges. And go ahead and flip it out. The tops were like so moist, it was like sticking to my hand, so yeah. Okay, now just let these cool off completely, and meanwhile, while they are cooling off, let's make this chocolate buttercream frosting that is the bomb diggity. Okay, I'm gonna add some butter, powdered sugar into a bowl just like this, dump it on in. And next, just get your little mixer and mix it on up. This is gonna be like very, very dry and crumbly because man, this is a lot. This is a lot of powdered sugar because this does make a lot of frosting, because I cannot stand when I make a frosting and then I run out. Like I don't have enough, so I gotta make like a whole nother batch. I hate that. So yeah, this makes a lot of frosting. Okay, so now I'm gonna add in my dark cocoa powder, unsweetened cocoa powder. Just dump that right on in. Okay, perfect. And now we're gonna mix this up just like that. Okay, and it's gonna look very, very dry and very, very crumbly and sandy like this right here. So don't be alarmed like, oh my god, what I do wrong. This is how it's supposed to look. All right, and next we're going to add in some heavy whipping cream. Yeah, we are not playing around with this cake or this frosting. Girl, if you're on a diet, hate it for your sister, because this cake, it is so good, but yeah, it's bad for you. It's bad. It's so good. Okay, so we're gonna add that heavy cream in there. We're gonna add in just enough heavy cream to where you get the texture that you like. I kind of like a nice thick frosting, so yeah, but you can add in a little less, a little more. When you get to how you like it, go ahead and add in that vanilla extract. Okay, just mix that on in, and then I'm going to add a nice generous splash of salt, a nice sprinkling of salt. Yeah, and that's perfect. This is how I like my frosting. Luscious, and so doggone good. Now we are ready to frost the cakes. Okay, so I started frosting my cake, getting ready to frost my cake, and then my husband comes in and he's like, are you not gonna cut off the tops of those cakes? You're not gonna level your cakes? And you guys know, on Divas Can Cook, I have never in my life leveled a cake, okay? I'm like, no honey, my cakes have character. I am not gonna cut the top off, but you know, I let his little control demon win. So yeah, I let him level off my cake, and now we're just gonna frost this cake. Look at that frosting. I love it. It's luscious. Yes. So go ahead and just frost it on up, and you can really decorate this cake any way you want to. You guys know, honey, I don't get into all that decorating and stuff, but I really did enjoy frosting this cake. Normally I don't like frosting stuff, but this was kind of fun. You know, I love this frosting. It's so smooth and soft and stuff. But yeah, honey, decorate it any way you want to. Now, I really thought I was doing a good job, okay? I'm like, yes, I am doing a great job with frosting this cake. Then my husband's like, honey, you gotta get it smooth. You gotta think like a frosting, you know, smooth. So yeah, he finished it off for me. And I must say, it's a pretty cake. Like, I have never made a cake this pretty on Divas Can Cook. So yeah, I may start leveling off my cakes now. Who knows? Probably not though, too much work. Okay, so I went ahead and just sprinkled on some little mini chocolate chips on top. You know, you can do chocolate shavings, you can do like some chocolate covered strawberries, some little drizzles, just whatever, honey. I kept it simple, okay? A chocolate cake. All right, now let's get into my favorite part. part. This is the part that makes me kind of nervous. I don't know why. Something about cutting a cake, I get nervous with it. I don't know why, but we're gonna cut this cake, okay? And when I tell you guys, this chocolate cake is the bomb diggity. Y'all, look at this. Oh my god. Oh my god, look at that. Yes, it is just screaming for some milk. Oh my gosh, some milk or some ice cream. It is time to dig in, but before we dig in, here's the part you guys don't see. The part, my least favorite part about food blogging is taking the photo. I'm like, oh, I hate photography. I do. I don't like it at all.
Okay, so that chocolate cake does look pretty good. However, I do have some things that I would like to comment on. Now, I'm not really a fan of chocolate cake. I tend to find that chocolate cake with chocolate frosting tends to be very rich in chocolate flavor. I do like chocolate things, and I do like chocolate cakes that have different frosting besides chocolate frosting. So I think that while this cake does look pretty good, I think it is very rich in chocolate flavor and not sweet like chocolate should be. Also, adding coffee to a chocolate cake is a sin, in my opinion, because I am not a fan of using coffee, decaf, or regular coffee, or any beverage like that in a baked good, because I think it ruins the flavor, and just not a coffee fan. However, if you like coffee and you like coffee in your baked goods, feel free to use it. So overall, I think this was a really good looking chocolate cake. I would try it. And if I were to make this myself, I would leave the coffee out of the cake mix or the cake batter, and I would use a different frosting. I am a big fan of peanut butter frosting. I know that that's not like a popular frosting, but it's what I grew up on. My grandmother used to make cakes, and then she would make a delicious peanut butter frosting. And when she made a chocolate cake, that's the frosting that I wanted, was peanut butter frosting. So chocolate and peanut butter is a great combo. So I think a chocolate cake with a homemade peanut butter frosting is perfect. And that gives me an idea. One of my upcoming baking videos will be a chocolate peanut butter cake. So I'll write that down in my notes after this video, and you'll see me make a chocolate peanut butter cake. All right, let's get on to my next reaction video. And I see that it's another type of cake. Now, if this was a 10-year-old me reacting to this cake, I would say it's absolutely disgusting because it uses a vegetable as one of the main ingredients. But a lot of adults like this cake, and now I too like this cake. So let's get right to this baking video.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Idiot Proof Cooking. So I'm going to do another baking episode today, but I'm a little pressed for time, so I needed to make something nice and easy and quick. So what I'm going to do is show you how to make carrot cake today, and I will also frost it with a cream cheese frosting. It hits both of those requirements for me, quick and is really tasty. So without any further ado, let's get into it, and I'll show you how to make some awesome carrot cake. Okay, so let's start making this carrot cake. What you'll need to get is a large mixing bowl like the one I have here, and into it add 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. Then you'll want to add in 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, a half teaspoon of kosher salt, 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, a half teaspoon of ground ginger, and then finally a teaspoon and a half of freshly ground nutmeg. Now if you don't have fresh nutmeg, you can just use the powdered stuff. It really works just as fine. Once you have all that in the bowl, go get your trusty whisk and whisk this all together until it's combined. And then you're going to want to set this aside for a moment and get yourself another mixing bowl. There you go, like that. And into that mixing bowl, add 1 1/4 cup of light brown sugar, 1/3 cup of white granulated sugar, and then you're going to need to get 4 large eggs and let them sit out at room temperature for about half an hour so they warm up a little bit, and then crack them into the sugar, mix them in one at a time with your whisk. The reason why you mix them in one at a time is because you really want to make sure that the eggs incorporate with the sugar. So like I said, crack one in, mix it, crack the next one in, mix it, and just repeat that step until all 4 of the eggs are mixed in. Once they are mixed in, go grab your vanilla paste or your vanilla extract. Now I haven't gone out and bought myself some more vanilla paste yet, so I'm using the extract. But anyways, pour in a teaspoon of that and mix it in with the eggs and sugar. Once it's incorporated in, get yourself 1 cup of either canola oil or vegetable oil. Either one is fine. Put that in with the sugar, the eggs, and the vanilla extract. And again, get your whisk and whisk this all together till it's combined. From here, the process is pretty straightforward. Go get your dry goods and pour the wet ingredients in with the dry ones. Pretty straightforward, like I said. Get yourself out a spatula, scrape down the bowl to make sure that you get all of it out, and then just start mixing this together. Now, one thing I'm going to say is this thickens up a little bit, so maybe use a wooden spoon. As you'll see here, I just broke my spatula. Well, rest in peace, spatula. You had a good run. I'll have to replace you. So maybe use a wooden spoon, because this does thicken up a little bit. Like, look at that. It just snapped off the end of it like it was nothing. So there's the wooden spoon. Keep mixing until everything is combined together. And once it is combined, go get yourself 2 cups of shredded carrots and pour them in. Now for 2 cups, it was about 4 medium-sized carrots that I had to shred. So once you get them shredded, pour them in with everything, and then add in 1 cup of raisins. Now the raisins are optional. I just happen to like raisins in pretty much everything I bake. If you've watched my channel, you should know this by now. Anyways, set that aside and get yourself out a baking tin. Now I'm going to use this 9 by 13 inch lasagna pan, and I've lined it with parchment paper, and then I'm also going to spray cooking spray all over the sides and all over the parchment paper so that this carrot cake batter doesn't stick while it's baking. Then go grab the batter and just start carefully pouring it out on top of the parchment paper inside the baking sheet. Pretty straightforward, right? Get yourself your wooden spoon again and just carefully spread this out across the entire baking sheet so that it's nice and even. It's a little bit thick, so you might have to really press it. But then preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit and bake this for anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour, really depending on the efficiency of your oven, until it comes out nice and golden brown like that. Go get yourself a wooden skewer or toothpick and stick it into the carrot cake, and if it comes out clean, you know it's done. I'm going to let this sit for about an hour, maybe 2 hours, because we're going to frost this with a cream cheese frosting, and similar to any other frosting, it's not going to properly set if the carrot cake is too hot. So after about 2.5 hours, it's ready to go. It looks great and it smells great. So get yourself out a mixing bowl again and add in 3 cups of powdered sugar, a 1/2 cup of unsalted butter melted, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, pour that in, and then you're going to want to put in a pinch of kosher salt, and last but not least, a whole block, about 8 ounces of cream cheese left out to warm up to room temperature. Then go get out your electric mixer and mix this all together until everything is combined and smooth like that. Okay, so now that the cream cheese frosting is made, let's frost this carrot cake up. Get yourself out a spoon and then just start liberally covering the carrot cake with it. I'm going to use the entire amount. Get out your offset spatula and then just start smoothing it out all over the carrot cake. Make sure to give yourself a nice even coating, as even as you can, across the entire carrot cake. Look at that. That is literally perfection. Let's cut into this because I really want to try a piece of this. It smells amazing and I just know it's going to taste amazing too. So cut it up into squares however you see fit. Pull yourself out a piece. I'm going to take an edge piece here. I think I've said in a few videos now, I like corner pieces, end pieces, edge pieces. I like that crispy outer part of it. But seriously, look at that. Look how gorgeous that is. Oh man, that just turned out perfectly. Oh, let's go in for a taste test. I am pumped to try this. Okay, here we go. First bite and holy. Oh man, is that ever.
Wow, that carrot cake actually looks pretty delicious. And what I really like about this video is that this is a pretty simple way to make a homemade carrot cake. So basically, all you need to do is combine the eggs and sugar together, and then add in your oil and your vanilla and mix the wet ingredients into the dry, and then fold in your carrots. I also like the addition of raisins into the carrot cake. I'm a big fan of raisins. I've always liked raisins since I was a kid, and I think raisins go great in a carrot cake. I'm also a fan of like a carrot sheet cake like the baker made in this video. So I definitely will be making this recipe, and I definitely will love to try this delicious carrot cake. Also, I have to say that the cream cheese icing he used to make this carrot cake looks absolutely delicious. Now, I've never added melted butter to a frosting, but I'm going to try next time I need to make a cream cheese icing. I'm going to try and use melted butter and use that with my powdered sugar and the cream cheese. That looks awesome. Very delicious looking carrot cake. So we're at the halfway point of today's show. And if we get any more live viewers, and if anyone is watching live and you have any baking or cooking questions, make sure to post them in the chat and I will answer them. And if you're watching this in the archived, first of all, thank you for taking the time to watch the video in its entirety. If you're watching it in the replay, if you do post a question in the comments, I will answer it by writing back, responding to it, and I'll also answer it on my Chef Alex Q&A on September 25th. Also, if you want to share your reaction to the baking video showing, comment below in the comments your reaction, and I'll share your reaction to today's video as well. All right, so my next reaction video is a fun dessert that is very popular in New England. A lot of people in the area that I live now do not know what this dessert is, but when I call it by name, it's basically a cookie sandwich. We'll talk more about it right after I show you this amazing video.
Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how to make classic chocolate whoopie pies, and this recipe is adapted from my current favorite cookbook, which is Cake Days by the Hummingbird Bakery, and I'm really excited because I got this cookbook on sale on Amazon, and this is not by any chance sponsored. I genuinely love this book. Whoopie pies are basically cakes in cookie form, and they're sandwiched together with a fluffy white marshmallow filling, and I'm excited to share this recipe with you, so let's get started. In a medium-sized bowl, crack in 1 whole egg and tumble in 3/4 of a cup of sugar. Any sugar works, I'm using Demerara sugar. And you want to whisk this mixture together for several minutes or until light and frothy. Now trickle in 2/3 of a cup of buttermilk. Check out my blog for substitution suggestions should you wish. Now you want to add in 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And stream in 1/3 of a cup of melted unsalted butter. As per the leavening agents, we're adding in 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda, 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, and for some added flavor, 1 teaspoon of instant espresso powder, which I think really brings out the flavor in the chocolate. Toss in roughly 2/3 of a cup of Dutch processed good quality cocoa powder, and you should be left with a beautiful lava-like chocolate mass. At this stage, add in the flour a little bit at a time until just combined. You'll be left with a thick chocolate paste that you're going to chill in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes. After that time is up, grease your palms with a little bit of flavorless oil and scoop up about 2 tablespoon sized mounds of the batter. Roll the batter between your fingertips and place the rounds onto a parchment lined baking sheet. You can alternately use an ice cream scoop, which makes the process so much easier. Pop the tray into a preheated oven for about 10 to 13 minutes and let the pie halves cool completely. To prepare that signature whoopie pie filling, cream together 1/2 cup of soft unsalted butter with 1 cup of confectioner's sugar, which I'm just adding gradually. Your product should be a beautifully white buttercream. To counter that butter flavor, add in 1/2 tablespoon of vanilla extract. This is a crucial ingredient, so don't leave it out. And now for the star of the show, 1 cup of marshmallow fluff. Caution, this stuff is the stickiest stuff I've ever had to work with, so just make sure you have your utensils on point. If you can't get your hands on any marshmallow fluff, fear not, check the blog for substitutions, I have you covered. When you're left with a beautifully white aerated filling, you're ready to sandwich it between the whoopie pies. The easiest and most efficient way to do this is with the help of a piping bag. Peel the pies from the parchment-lined baking sheet and pair them up based on resemblance. Flip them over and pipe dollops of the cloud-like marshmallowy filling and gently press the other half on top so that the filling peeks out through the sides. I like to chill the pies for roughly 20 minutes so that filling can firm up nicely, but ultimately you are the boss of your own dessert and you can dig in whenever you please. These are soft and super chocolatey. That light interior mixes beautifully with its dark exterior.
Wow, those look absolutely delicious. And that looks pretty easy to make. Whoopie pies are one of my favorite treats from New England. I don't see them that often down here in South Florida. My local BJ's Wholesale Club has them, and some of the bakeries do. But whoopie pies come in a variety of flavors like chocolate, red velvet, and even in the fall season, pumpkin whoopie pies. Now, last year, a friend and I, of course, Paul Aramani and I made pumpkin whoopie pies on my other cooking channel, but I'm going to be uploading that video to my YouTube channel, the legendary Alex Cardinale, pretty soon. So whoopie pies are a great dessert, and that looked awesome. I definitely would try one of those whoopie pies. The best thing I like about whoopie pies is that the marshmallow filling that goes in them. It is absolutely delicious. Whoopie pies have like a marshmallow filling with whipped cream that is really good. All right, so my next baking video is going to be my very first fruit dessert. Now, this is a perfect dessert for this time of year. We are just entering fall, and this is a American classic. Let's check it out.
This recipe for apple crisp is from All Recipes member Diane Kester, who says, "It's a simple dessert that's great served with ice cream." First, preheat your oven to 350 degrees. For this recipe, you need 10 cups of sliced apples, which is about 10 medium-large apples. Peel the apples, core them, and slice them fairly thin. Place the sliced apples in a 9 by 13 inch baking dish. Then, in a small bowl, mix together 1 cup of white sugar, 1 tablespoon of all-purpose flour, and 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Sprinkle this mixture over the apples. And then pour half a cup of water evenly over everything. Next, make the topping. In a medium bowl, add 1 cup of quick cooking oats, 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of packed brown sugar, a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, and a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. And mix well. Now melt half a cup or 1 stick of butter and add to the oat mixture. Mix the butter in using a fork to form a crumbly topping, being careful not to overmix. Crumble the topping evenly over the apples. And bake it for about 45 minutes until the topping begins to brown and the apple crisp is bubbling at the edges. You'd be hard-pressed to find a more satisfying dessert than warm apple crisp with a scoop of vanilla ice cream.
Wow, a very classic American fall dessert. Now, I'm actually a big fan of fruit desserts. I love a classic apple crisp. I love apple pie, of course. So this video that I just showed you is a very classic and a very simple way of making apple crisp. I think it's a good dessert to make in the middle to late September, and even a great dessert for Thanksgiving, because we're getting really close to Thanksgiving. So everything that this baker did in this video looked fantastic, and it looked delicious. You could serve this with vanilla ice cream or even with just whipped cream. But the thing to know about apple crisp is that it is best served warm. I find it better to serve it warm than cold. So you can eat it right after you take it out of the oven. Just let it sit for about 10 minutes and then it'll be delicious. Or you could reheat it the next day if you have leftovers. Just reheat it in the microwave and you've got yourself a delicious dessert. All right, so it is no secret that I am Italian. With a name like Cardinale, you automatically would assume that I am Italian. And one of my favorite desserts is cannolis. I love cannolis. My friends know that. My family knows that. So, of course, they picked a baking video that utilizes cannolis in one form or another. So let's get to my 7th reaction video that utilizes one of my favorite Italian desserts, cannolis. Nice. That is a very easy way to make a cannoli cake. You know, they sell cannoli cakes at bakeries for a lot of money, but this is my go-to recipe for cannoli cakes. I really, really like that you could use a boxed cake mix or your very own homemade vanilla cake. Now, with the addition of the mascarpone cheese and the ricotta cheese, you're getting a great creamy cannoli filling to top that cannoli cake. I really like that video. It shows you a simple way to make a cake that a bakery would probably charge you $20 to $40 for, when you can make it at home much cheaper. So September 18th, I am hosting a dinner party And this is the dessert that I'm going to be making. It's going to be a cannoli cake, and I will be using that exact video. So thank you, my friends, for choosing that video. It's the best cannoli cake video out there that bakers can use. Alrighty, it's time for our final reaction video for today's video. Now, my last reaction video goes for another fruit dessert. And this is something that I used to eat as a kid from a bakery that shut down in Springfield, Massachusetts. And all of my Western Massachusetts followers and subscribers are going to remember this bakery. This bakery was called Gus and Paul's in Springfield. And I used to buy this dessert when I slept over at my grandmother's house. Me and her would share them. So this is a really good dessert. So let's watch the baking video.
All Recipes member Super Shannon is a super fan of these lemon square bars. She describes them as fantastic, especially the buttery crust and lovely chewy filling. We'll start by preheating the oven to 350 degrees. Next, grease a 9 by 13 inch baking pan. Many All Recipes members recommend lining the greased pan with parchment paper or foil and then greasing that as well. This extra step makes it easy to cut the bars and remove them from the pan. To make the crust, place 2 cups of flour in a medium bowl and add 1 cup of confectioner's sugar. Mix that together to blend. Then add 1 cup of melted butter, that's 2 sticks. And mix it in well. Transfer this mixture to the baking pan and press it to make an even layer on the bottom of the pan using a spatula. Bake the crust for 15 minutes or until it's golden. Remove the crust from the oven, but keep the oven on. While the crust is cooling, we'll prepare the lemon layer. Place 2 cups of sugar in a medium bowl. Then add 1 teaspoon of baking powder and a 1/4 cup of flour. Stir this sugar mixture well so there are no lumps in it and set it aside. Crack 4 eggs into a large bowl. And use an electric mixer to beat them until they're light and airy. Now, stir the sugar mixture into the eggs. When that's well blended, add a 1/2 cup plus 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Fresh squeeze tastes best. Stir the filling until the lemon juice is blended in well. Pour it over the baked crust. And place the baking dish back in the oven. Bake the lemon bars for 30 minutes or until the filling is set. Allow the bars to cool completely before cutting them. Once the bars are cooled and cut, sift some confectioner's sugar over them to add a bakery-style touch. As Super Shannon says, these lemon square bars just might make you a hero to your family and friends.
Wow, those lemon bars look delicious. Now, I've always been intimidated by making homemade lemon bars, and I'll admit I've never made them before. But after watching that video, I am pretty confident that I can make homemade lemon bars. And a matter of fact, we will do that live here on my YouTube channel, the legendary Alex Cardinale. I will make homemade lemon bars. Not sure when, but we will definitely make homemade lemon bars. That looks pretty simple. So basically all you got to do is make a shortbread crust and make the filling and bake it. That looks awesome. All right. So those are all the videos that I have for you today to react to. So I want to thank everybody for taking the time to watch this video, whether you watched it live or you're watching the replay and you're watching it in its entirety. I really appreciate that. So next week, Chef Alex, will be back in the kitchen. Now, hopefully my chef coats arrive by next week, but I will be cooking and baking in the kitchen again. So I'm going to be doing these reaction videos on a monthly basis, but I'm going to be in the kitchen as well, baking and cooking for you. So don't miss my live baking video next Thursday. Not this Thursday, but next Thursday. Don't miss my first live baking video on Thursday, September 16th, 2021 at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. I will be making Texas Roadhouse bread pudding. That's right, on Thursday, September 16th, I'll be making Texas Roadhouse bread pudding at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. So make sure you mark that on your calendars and join me as I make a delicious Texas Roadhouse bread pudding. All right, we've reached the end of today's video. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, make sure you leave a thumbs up and give it a good like. I'm sure you will enjoy it. All right. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel for more cooking and baking videos. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, the legendary Alex Cardinale. I really appreciate all the new subscribers that I have been getting. I think it's awesome that you guys are subbing my channel. And now I've got some fantastic videos coming your way. So with that being said, thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed my reactions to all the videos my friends chose. And I will see you on Thursday, September 16th, as I return to the kitchen to make Texas Roadhouse bread pudding. Have a great rest of your day or night, whatever time it is you chose to watch this video. And I'll see you in my next baking video. Goodbye, everybody.